Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 to 16. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye, when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice, and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out, and to be trodden under foot of men. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle, and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew chapter 5 begins what is commonly called the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus goes up into a mountain, sits down, and begins teaching his disciples while the multitudes listen. This section reveals the character, heart, and conduct associated with those connected to the kingdom of heaven. The opening verses, often called the Beatitudes, describe spiritual qualities that God values. Jesus is not praising outward religion, pride, or self-righteousness. Instead, he speaks of humility, brokenness, mercy, purity, and a deep desire for righteousness. The poor in spirit are those who recognize their spiritual need and dependence upon God. Those who mourn are not merely sorrowful over earthly troubles, but are grieved over sin, suffering, and the broken condition of the world. The meek are not weak people, but those who humbly submit themselves to God rather than exalting themselves. Jesus also speaks of those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. This describes a deep longing for what is right before God. The merciful, the pure in heart, and the peacemakers reflect the character that flows from a heart aligned with God's will. Persecution is also emphasized. Jesus warns that those who live faithfully for righteousness' sake will often face rejection and opposition, just as the prophets before them did. Yet he tells them to rejoice because their reward in heaven is great. In verses 13 through 16, Jesus describes his followers as the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Salt preserves and influences, while light exposes darkness and gives direction. Christ's followers were meant to visibly reflect God's truth before others. Their lives were not to remain hidden, but were to point people toward the Father. The command to let their light shine before men does not promote self-glory. The purpose is that others would see good works and glorify God. True righteousness points people toward the Father, rather than exalting self. This passage reveals the kind of heart and character that God desires. Jesus begins his great sermon not with political power or outward religion, but with humility, righteousness, mercy, purity, and faithful endurance. The King is teaching what life connected to God's kingdom should look like.